sharing what you do. Michael has been through so much and yet still continues to soar. And there's other people in this room that have had some major things go on and yet they still continue to soar. And I just want to encourage you to think about the excuses you look at, that you use to stop yourself from succeeding. Back in March at Chairman's Circle, the Home Office revealed a theme for this year's national conference, a story worth sharing. This is how they described it. We all have stories we love to share. The how we met stories, the travel the world stories, I took a chance stories. And the best stories are the ones we know by heart, aren't they? And we share from the heart because they're real and they have meaning. At Pampered Chef, we believe in the power of story to inspire and change lives. It's time to share yours. I've been thinking about the concept of our stories for the last few months. We all have our own unique life story, don't we? A compilation of significant events of our past that have shaped who we are today. However, there's also a future story of our lives that have yet to be written. What if we changed our thinking from sharing our stories to writing our stories? How would our lives change if we spent less time looking back and more time looking forward? When I look back at the past events of my life, it's like viewing myself as a character in a book. But when I think about the future, I no longer see myself as just the main character, but as the author of the story, creating the path that I will pursue. It requires a change of strategy, doesn't it? And it starts with being more introspective about how I want to live my life and what I want to be able to give to others. If I could fill a bunch of boxes with the things I'd like to give others and to give to you, the contents would be marked with things like friendship, leadership, confidence, success, and love. As I take responsibility for each day for the writing of my story, I must incorporate the principles and values that I define of who I want to become. Mother Teresa once said, I am a little pencil in the hand of a writing God who is sending a love letter to the world. Wow. As a Christian woman, I just love this picture of being a simple tool used by God. I want to write that into my story. Every good story also has an element of danger, doesn't it? The main character usually has to take some risks. Of course, this is always easier to read about than to actually experience, isn't it? But as Michael so beautifully shared, it's overcoming obstacles, challenges, and perhaps wrong beliefs that make our main character stronger. Life circumstances continue to change, relationships continue to evolve, and life seasons continue to pass. But I'm learning that I have to intentionally move towards taking certain risks if I want to keep my story positive and growing. Without realizing it, we can allow the events of our lives to write our story for us, rather than taking the deliberate action necessary to write our own story in our own way. Engage your imagination and ask yourself how you would like your story to change. What would happen if you went from viewing yourself as a character in a story to the author of your story? What new strategies would you incorporate? What steps would you need to make to progress in your story? Focus on a single small change with consistency and time. You'll see those changes add up to successes. What principles and values would you develop if you were looking at you? What risks would you need to intentionally move towards? My journey with the Pampered Chef has provided me with a unique opportunity to witness thousands of stories of changed lives. Many inspiring, many exciting, many worth celebrating. You are worth celebrating. What about your story? How would you like your manuscript to read next year at National Conference? What one thing What one thing do you definitely want to achieve by next year? Would you take a minute and write that down? What one thing do you want to change and achieve by next year? Now that you've identified something specific that you want, will you accept my challenge to take responsibility for the writing of your story each and every day? Some people just dream about their life and some live it. Becoming the author of your own story will allow you to live the life you dream about, inspire others, and change lives. God bless you guys. Thanks.